Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot and you are watching Book Chat. Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing a story, kind of a more story than an actual book, by Sheridan La Fanu, and he's a very famous 1800s author, and he wrote this book called Carmilla. And a lot of people say that it is the very first vampire book. Now, it was written in 1872. Now, that was long before Bram Stoker actually wrote his opus, Dracula. So this dude was like way ahead of the curve as far as vampire books go. He wrote this first. It's called In a Glass Darkly, and it is a book of short stories. Okay, there it is. A book of short stories. And one of the short stories in this book is Carmilla. And it has become an absolute classic of its genre. And it's really, really cool. It's about this young girl who lives with her father in an old house in the middle of basically nowhere. And one day they're out riding their horses on the road, and this carriage drives past and the wheel falls off the carriage, and this older woman and her daughter are in the carriage. Anyway, they get saved. And the old lady says, look, I've got to go. I've got to be in this next town. You know, time is money. And she says, but my daughter's fainted and blah, blah, blah. Can you look after her? So the gentleman says, yes, of course, my daughter and I will take her up to the house, and which is exactly what they do. And of course, then all kinds of weird shit goes down. And at the end of the day, the fat is in the fire. And this sort of vampiric story takes over. And you're not really, up until about 3/4 of the way through, you're not really sure who the vampire is. Is the vampire this young girl? Is the vampire the guy's daughter? Is he perhaps a vampire? What about the woman in the carriage? Where did she go? Who is she? So all these really cool mysteries, that are all explained at the end. And what I love about this book is it is short. You can read, it's basically a longish short story, okay? It's maybe, say, 10 pages longer than a normal short story. And it is just non-stop excitement. There's even a bit of lesbian love in there, okay? So it's just such a cool story. In fact, it's such a cool story that although I have it in this book, okay, with his other stories, I went and got myself a special edition with just that one story in. And you can see it's a tiny little story. It's minute, all right? And the writing's pretty big, and this book's got pictures. Okay, and this is not the children's version. Please, people, this is not a children's kind of vampire story, okay? This ain't Twilight. This is some serious shit, man. Okay, but I just thought that cover was really cool, and I wish you could feel this cover. I really wish you could feel this cover. If the cover feels like it's made out of rubber. It actually feels like it's made out of rubber. And I love this story so much that I had to have this version. Also, I really like the cover. So yeah, this book is Carmilla. It's by Sheridan La Fanu. I've heard his name pronounced different ways. French dude. And he's written a lot of other stuff, obviously. But this Carmilla is his absolute best story that I actually know of, that I've read. And I've read a lot of his. This to me is his best. It's the creepiest and it's the most mysterious. So I'm not going to give the game away by telling you who the vampire is, but I am going to say go out, get the book, read it, or if you are online, it's free. You can download it for free. Don't really worry about his other stories until you've read this one. This is the tits. I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and I will see you next week for some more book chat.